Hi everyone, today we're looking at proportions. A proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. So here's an example. We have two ratios, 1 to 2 and 4 to 8. Now we know that they are equal because both terms in the ratio have been multiplied by 4, which makes them equal ratios. So this equation represents a proportion. Over here we have 27 to 18 and 9 to 6. Again, we can see that they are equal ratios because each term in the ratio has been divided by 3 to form the second ratio. So this pair of ratios represents a proportion. Let's have a look to see if the ratios in each pair form a proportion. Here's our pair of ratios, 9 to 10 and 27 to 30. Let's start with the first one. If we multiply each term in the first ratio, we end up with an equal ratio, being the second one that was given to us in the pair. So yes, we can say that this pair of ratios represents a proportion because the same has been done to each term in the ratio. Over here we have 72 to 81 and 7 to 9. Now here's our first ratio. In order to find the second term in the second ratio, I've divided 81 by 9, and that's given me 9. But if I do the same thing to the top term, 72, and divide it by 9, it doesn't give me 7, because we know that 72 divided by 9 equals 8, not 7. So this pair of ratios does not equal or does not represent a proportion because the ratios aren't equal. Completing proportions, and we're going to use our knowledge of unit rate to do this. So here's a problem for us. A hybrid car can travel 260 miles using 5 gallons of gas. How many miles can the car travel using 8 gallons of gas? Now, the problem is for us to write a proportion that compares miles driven to the gallons of gas used. So we have our miles and our gallons. Our first ratio that we were given in our word problem is 260 miles to 5 gallons of gas. And they want us to find how many miles would have been traveled using 8 gallons of gas. Now, we can look at 5 and 8 and recognize that they're not usually easy to compare using multiplication. And in order to help us out, what we can do is find the unit rate. So to find the unit rate, we use our initial ratio that we were given in the word problem, 260 miles to 5 gallons of gas. And to find the unit rate, we need to break it down to a ratio that has a denominator of 1. So in order to do that, I can recognize that I need to divide each term by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. That gives me the denominator of 1, which helps me find the unit rate. And I do the same to the top. So 260 divided by 5 equals 52. So the unit rate is 52 miles per gallon. Now I can use this unit rate to find out how far the car can travel using 8 gallons of gas. So I use my unit rate of 52 miles per gallon and I multiply it by 8 gallons of gas. And that will give me 416 miles. So back to the original question that asked us to write a proportion comparing the miles driven to the amount of gas used and the gallons of gas used. We have 260 to 5 is the same as 416 to 8. So this equation is our proportion.